When you look at what's happening in the stock market, everyone points to semiconductors and AI being a bubble. But there's one area of the market that I believe is most confidently the bubble of bubbles, and that is quantum. I believe down the line, it will be a big deal. But when the CEO of the largest semiconductor company in the world comes out and says, the world isn't ready for quantum, we don't need it, we can't use it yet, it doesn't matter right now, that's not a good thing. He even said long term, it's going to be around. It's worth the move. But the move of what you're seeing right now makes no sense. And I think today points to a very big conclusion of the problem that's right in front of us. So this is RGTI. I'm going to go over a few other names, but I made a video previously on why I believe these companies were a giant issue and why I would stay away. That being said, they've gone up a lot since I made that video. So I'm kind of wrong, right? But I do want to also highlight before we go down this trail of the one thing that I said from that video that would carry these quantum names. So this is the IWM. And again, IWM has been breaking out of a basically 4 to 5 year range of highs of basically 245 to lows of 170, back and forth, back and forth. Well, again, like I said in the last video, like of the top 10 largest holdings, a lot of those names in IWM in the Russell are quantum names. So if we started to break out, it was highly likely that quantum would keep going. Well, today we saw a dip in the stock market, and again, it's bounced right back as normal. You go look at the SPY. Again, this is kind of the new norm. You see a wild dip followed by a wild bounce, and again, that's what you've kind of seen so far. But the problem here is with RGTI, and some news came out as well, which I wouldn't even say it's necessarily news, because if you did any research before, you already knew this, and we kind of already talked about this. So RGTI topped at around 58, now it's at $49. But what's happened? So I'm on Twitter, and I see this on a news article somewhere, and I just reposted it, right? Quantum darling RGTI sinks 14% as retail investors finally discover, I thought this was a troll, Form 4 maybe showing that the CEO liquidated all of his ownership. The company literally makes no money, people. Like, I understand investing in the future or growth potential of a company. RGTI makes no money. It literally made $1.8 million last quarter. When you go look at RGTI's market cap, it is $16 billion. Go run some numbers on the multiple of what that is. That is insanity. Wildest valuations out there. And when you go look at all of quantum, it's very similar. But when you also go in to look at these names and you realize that the owners have no shares. Like, could there be anything more bearish for a company or a sector when none of the CEOs are heavily invested into their companies? Go look at NVIDIA. Jensen Huang. Go look at AMD, Lisa Cook. Go look at Amazon, Jeff Bezos. Go look at Tim Cook, right? And Jeff Bezos isn't it's Jassy now, but still, you get the gist, right? Microsoft, Google, all of their owners and CEOs have major equity pool. Palantir, not a Max 7 name, but still highly speculative. Very, I would say it's overvalued, right? But at least the growth is there and makes some money. This doesn't make any money. But the CEO owns shares. He's heavily invested, right? Zero. And the best part is this. The CEO, I can't even pronounce his name. It's probably not, no comment. Exercised options to convert 1 million shares on May 21st, 2025. So this is not abnormal. Like, we see this happen with Musk all the time. You'll actually usually see Elon Musk selling shares, and then everyone gets very bearish on the stock. And then what happens is he gets paid basically in his options, and then converts those options to shares, and he just holds. So he comes out with actually more shares than he had originally, but he just sold some to pay himself, because that's how he's paying himself out there, right? And then he immediately sold them, leaving him 0 shares in a growth tech environment where executive ownership signals conviction. Like I just said, this move has ignited questions. The craziest part, again, guys, this was May 21st. So this information has been out there. I was more interested in INOQ, which their CEO has some investment, but it's not, he sold a lot, but he could get more. This guy, he said, dude, day one, get me the hell out. This company, this is crazy. I might get fired. I need to make the money while I can. Literally what he did. Now, since then, it's worth mentioning that this company has gone on a major run. You were literally right here at $14, $15 what a terrible sell, right? What a meme. So again, where you're at. Now, the other part of this, I think that's very important to understand. It's something I say here all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, when you move up very fast, you can move down just as fast. And it's worth mentioning. I will say on YouTube, I've been one of the biggest bulls over the past 7 to 10 months. Massive bull. Massive, right? We did get a lot of the dip. It was awesome, but we have been very bullish on this channel. People call me a perma bull. But this is the red flag in the economy right now of what's happening. And with the worst part, this is heavily retail. This is heavily retail carrying this up. But let me tell you, it's going to get destroyed. Another name out there is INOQ. Now, I think INOQ, probably one of the better quantum names out there. I think D-Wave is another big one. QBTS, I think it's D-Wave. Yeah, looking pretty solid, whatever, right? They just don't make a lot of money. This one's making a little bit, 15 million. What is going on here? You go from 2 million, maybe it was a typo, 15 million into 3. I mean, what is happening? What is going on? But they're not profitable. That's the biggest thing, and they're not going to be profitable for a while. So again, very important to understand this. I think INOQ comes down to $50 easily. But honestly, you're looking for that $40 200 SMA test. The second you lose the 200 SMA, which you can see INOQ has been bouncing there. IONQ, sorry, has been bouncing there clearly. Once you flip that, it's over. It's wraps. It's going to get torched. And the other thing to realize too is IWM is at all-time highs, which again, I am very if the market, if we can, really truly find a bottom and we can stop getting all this crazy China tariff news, if you can actually start to bounce, I am very bullish on IWM and mid caps and small caps. I'm very bullish on. I really, God's honest, I am. However, you need to acknowledge if IWM's at all-time highs, what happens if IWM pulls back to 230? Then you really have no leg to stand on when it comes to quantum. Very, 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 very important to think about right now. This is a terrible, terrible area in the market. I cannot believe people didn't do any research. I mean, a monkey could have told you that this company was worth nothing. It's making $1.8 million a quarter, 1.47, 2 million. I mean, terrible. This is worth over $10 billion. What a joke. What an absolute joke. So again, I'm telling you, I firmly believe these are the worst stocks in the market right now. Incredible. Incredible that this has just got caught and that retail goes to show doesn't do any work or research for themselves at all. So I always tell you, do not trust people online, on TikTok, on Twitter, on YouTube. You need to do your own due diligence. Okay, very important. Now we'll switch gears up. What are some mid caps I like? Now I will say, very important, I am not YOLOing into these names. I want to highlight that. Tyler Wilson is not just buying these names. I mentioned when I go over mid caps, small caps, okay, I always mention where my buy levels are, what I'd be watching, why I'm watching them, okay? Let's dive in. The first thing we're gonna do is go over some AI names, okay? That's the first thing we'll talk about here first. Number one, a big subject here has been Path. Now Path, the good thing that they have going on and why they shot up here is because they basically got news that is anticipating the further growth of revenue, which again, what's been the biggest case for a lot of these AI names, these tech names that have been running, is great growth. And you've seen quarter after quarter, acceleration of revenue and earnings. Good of what you want to see, right? Now, Path, it actually makes some money here, right? It's been stagnated near 400 to 350, but again, this news is what's getting you going. Above, I like this around $15 to buy. I'll be totally honest with you. The other thing that I'm thinking about all the time with these types of names, this is the range that you sat in for like God knows how long. The thing that I like here when it comes to mid caps and small caps, I set alerts for where I want to buy them, my buy zones, and then I come back to them when we're there and I look at how the market's moving and then I kind of make a decision from there. So Path, that's where I'd be marking 15, 15, 20. That's your buy level for me. SoFi, I made a video on them the other day. You can go watch that video, deep dive. You need to see a daily hold on the daily candle, not small time frames, above $28. Most important thing, I don't want to go over this too much. I've covered them a lot. My favorite AI name out there is Tempest AI. Now, guys, if you also want to see what we're trading, how we're trading, what I'm looking for throughout the day, the Discord is down below. Literally, this was, I believe, 2 days ago, maybe 1 day ago, right here. So I posted this, 10/14, 2 days ago. A really interesting stock, retesting the amount previous all-time high here. One of my favorite mid caps, AI, right there, 91.5. Well, from there, go look what happened. You literally retested it for like a day and a half here. You shot up into 97, 98. Options went crazy if you had any there. Now, again, for me, buy zones here are here, 91.5 to 50 MA, 81 to 80 to like 81 to $78, big buy zone. And then after that, your 200 daily moving average. I don't think Tempest AI will get below its 200 daily moving average, but it's easily one of my favorite AI tech names. This is the same stock that Nancy Pelosi bought as well beginning of the year. And their earnings will look really solid. So again, you go back to like towards the beginning of the year, 200 million, you did a further 250, that's great, 25% quarter over quarter. Then you did 314. That's great. That is growth. That is good. If you see continued growth, 350, anywhere in 340, 350, I think you're very happy with what you're doing at Tempest AI. Estimates 330. I think you can beat that personally, in my opinion. Okay. So again, what you want to see, but ultimately holding 80 to 78 is your big level. If you do break that, I'd be very cautious, but I'm looking aggressively to buy near the 200 daily moving average. Biggest buy zone you're going to get. Okay. Snapchat. Again, I'm throwing riskier names out there, but when I'm looking at these names, I want to show you what I mean and why I like them. So Snapchat, before we started getting this China dip, it was probably the most interesting stock, like cheap stock out there, because you're getting so much volume down here at lows. This is the weekly chart. So again, this is a weekly chart, and this is the most volume you've seen on Snapchat ever. And there's people buying down here at $8. Very interesting. You can also see we've been trading in a range here on the weekly from basically 2025 all the way to July 2022. So again, you're buying it at the low of the range, $7.50, $8. In my opinion, I'm okay buying stock here. You move to $10, you've printed. You've made like 30%. Which is crazy to think about. You move back to the top of the range, $12, you've almost doubled your investment. Makes a lot of sense. I like it a lot. They also added the new subscription tier. People might not like it. I don't care. Again, it's another stream of income that sucks, or that does not suck. Sorry. So again, what I'd be watching, what I'd be looking at. And you have to think about it. When you're adding ways to make money that really have no cost to you, that's only a win. Think back about Netflix. This is the best way I could use it as an example. Netflix is a better company, don't get me wrong, but Netflix started adding ad tiers. And remember, everyone was like, oh, well, they're just going to cancel their subscriptions. Like, why would or they're going to upgrade their subscription. Like, why would they want to pay more for a ad tier, or you can just pay $3 extra and go the route of the premium membership? Well, spoiler alert, people are cheap, but they still want to watch their shows. This case, spoiler alert, people are still going to use the app they used for a while. Again, they haven't figured out a good way to monetize the app yet. However, this has been killing it, so I would be watching that. Also, Snapchat pays their creators an ungodly amount. I would Google it. It's actually kind of insane, right? It really is insane. SMCI. A lot of you guys have been asking about this. Quick update on SMCI. You hit my targets. Again, my target was conservative. It was the gap fill at 57 to 58. You hit that, and now you're kind of pulling back. I still think you look fine. As long as you're above $48, you're bullish. And every time we've broken above this, we have hit 60. So is this the time where this switches? We'll see. HIMS. This has been a clear-cut buy. Now, again, I mark out my buy zones. Again, go rewatch my videos when I've talked about top 5, top 6, cheap stocks, whatever, right? HIMS. 51 has been a buy zone, $51.8 to $51, buy zone 1, buy zone 2, 48, buy zone 3 is going to be your 200 SMA at $45, which is slowly going up. HIMS, you've bounced out of 51, 52, all the way into 64, 65 on the day. Now you are trying to also bounce at this level right here. Let me highlight it so you can see right there. That's where you're trying to hit bounce right now. I'm not buying here. I don't care. My buy zones remain the same. Eventually, you're going to get the big, massive breakout. You can see a little downtrend that we've been in. We're trying to break out of it. Still looks really solid. Like HIMS a lot. Really good. Now, I mentioned Snapchat and saying there is an example. So giving you an example. So Snapchat, bottom of the range, right? Pretty awesome. Like, you know, risk reward makes a lot of sense here. Okay. Oscar, very similar type of trade. Now, Oscar is I think it's a great company. It's a great company. I wouldn't be buying Oscar here, though, at highs of $21, $20. It makes no sense. We were buying Oscar down here at $14. Again, wasn't a pretty trade. No one was excited about it. And I don't even know if too many people in Discord got it. But I said, clear as day, I am buying Oscar down here. Makes no sense. I want to buy this. This is one of the best trades that you're going to get out there, right? So I want to find it real quick, go all the way down. Again, everything in Discord's catalog, so you just search things up and you can go find it. So really, really simple for you guys right here. This was July 22nd of this year. Bought Oscar stock 13.5 to 13.70 range earlier. Bottom of a 1.5 year range. targeting back into, I think at 19 and then all the way into the all-time, back into the highs here, right? Well, look what happened. You sat there for like 3-4 weeks and then you shot up. Sometimes you just take the odds. If it's a stock you like, a stock that's interesting, which Oscar I think makes really good money, so it was like a no-brainer for me. And honestly, they could break out here, but I won't be trading the breakout. I'm trading the easy layup of a trade. That's what I prefer. Less risk, higher chance of winning, make money, compound my interest, compound my gains, protect my capital. That's the name of the game. I'm not trying to full send risk it and make $1 billion, $1 million every day. I'm here to just make money. That's all. I just want to make money. Simple as that. Okay. Very important to understand that. Last name here too, as well, before we go into the last name, Kava. Kava, been trading this one for a while. Again, where I got in, I'm all out of Kava now. I have no Kava, just letting you know. We bought it down here near $60. You ended up running close to $66. That was really nice. You never got to push into 70. Options moved really good. You can go check out the options for yourself. We traded January 16th, I believe, a $70 or $65 contract. I don't even know what we traded, to be honest. It's been a while. But anyways, still watching it. Looks a little bit weaker, but as long as you're above 58, $60, you look really good, to be totally honest. Buyers have been trying to step in. And again, it's worth mentioning. Remember, like when Kava was way up here and everyone was like, hey, when do we buy Kava? Like it's at 120. Do we buy? I don't like to buy stocks when they're crazy expensive. When they go straight up in a straight line, unless it's a Mag 7 large market name like Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta, something like that, I don't like to buy it on the pump. Because look at RGTI. Everyone's been telling you to buy it. It's going to 100. It's doing this, it's doing that. And now look at it, right? Again, and granted, I don't think Kava is a scam like RGTI, but still, I don't want to buy an overvalued name. Makes no sense. Now, the last stock I'm gonna talk about, this is for a sponsor, just to let you know. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm just giving you an update on what they're doing and what's going on with this name, just so you know. Ticker symbol TBH, the Bragg House. Now, you've seen a lot of stocks that are basically focused on crypto. And you're seeing like this new, it's like almost like a new fad. We see stocks come in like, okay, well, we buy a bunch of Solana. So if Solana goes up, we go up. And I get it. It makes sense, whatever. MicroStrategy, good example. You're basically buying into it. Bitcoin goes up. MicroStrategy should in theory go up. Well, this one is centered around more memes and what's happening with Dogecoin. And what they're trying to do is they're basically trying to make it to where people can use Dogecoin in real world places, correct? Just like remember when Twitter was supposed to get the transactions via Dogecoin and Dogecoin pumped and all that happened. Well, basically that's what this company is doing. And they basically have the way that they went public, just to let you know, is that they did a reverse merger with a failing esports company. So again, there's tons of ways you can go public. You can go IPO, you can go SPAC. There's again, a handful of ways, but one of the ways you can do this is be a reverse takeover. And that is what they're trying to do. It was the cheapest option. Now it's worth mentioning when they did that, obviously, as you can see here, the stock just went kapooey to the downside. Now, again, not a lot of stuff you can look at here on TA. You're buying it at a very, very cheap value. Honestly, big buy zone probably near 80, 70 cents down there. But the thing to understand is what they're trying to do and kind of explain that as simply as possible. Now, they're literally doing a full rehaul on leadership. They're getting totally away from the esports, which thank God. We all know that ended terribly for all those companies. But what they're trying to do is make it to where all these places and they can really push out the transactions and kind of, I guess, lead that charge for Doge. Very important. Also, on the other side of it, they're buying a shit ton of Doge on the back end, right? To be not considered a bank, but like what MicroStrategy is trying to do, Bitminer, things along those lines as well with Ethereum, Solana, whatever companies you're looking at there. Now, I will say a lot of risk here is associated with this, so I'm not YOLOing, I'm not going all in. But if you're someone that's looking at Dogecoin, you're like, okay, well, how am I gonna make money off this, and that? Again, I think you have to look at different ways to try to make money off this. Because again, I don't think Doge is ever gonna explode to $2. Like people that are living there and like in that like mentality, I think you're like in La La Land. But whatever, do what you want. Great movie. But again, where you're at right now, if Doge goes down, it probably hurts the company. But overall, that is where you're at. That's how you're moving. If you have any questions, comment on that down below as well. But again, my overall thoughts there. If you have any questions on any of the stocks we covered here, I'd love to go over them. Ask me on Twitter. The Twitter link is down below as well. Have a good one, traders.